Hey, I'd like to welcome you to another episode of the Mission Matters Innovation Podcast, your source for everything innovation. My name is Adam Torres. You can follow me on Instagram at AskAdamTorres to keep up with my book releases, book tour schedule, signings, all that other good stuff. Always love to connect with you there. And as always, if you'd like to apply to become a co-author of one of my upcoming books, just head on over to the website, moneymatterstoptips.com, and click on Become an Author to apply. All right, so today I have Kalon Welch on the line, and he's EVP of Business Development and co-owner over at FastSensor. Kalon, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Adam. Pleasure to be on the show. Looking forward to it.
So let's just jump right in. Excited to get into this. So first off, just give us a little bit of background on FastSensor and what you're doing.
Great. Well, Adam, we are a consumer behavior tracking and shopper analytics solution. We have an advanced technology that allows us to penetrate an audience passively and anonymously as they move through a retail environment with 1 square meter of accuracy with over 90 to 95% penetration. But really what our secret sauce is using artificial intelligence and machine learning to study behaviors and look for patterns and create predictive outcomes based on that shopper behavior.
So let's start. So let's go a little bit further. So first off, what type of businesses is this appropriate for? Is this for like your mom and pops like stores, or is this like enterprise level? Just give us a little bit more meat on that one.
Sure, of course. Well, generally we're looking at sort of medium to larger, and I say larger in sort of the enterprise space businesses. They understand the value of data at scale and can look for the patterns and behaviors using analytics. On the other hand, we do have, of course, our own dashboards and built-in analytics that comes with the platform. So in that space, those are our primary targets. We also have another application within the trade show and experiential marketing activation measurement space. And by the way, our tagline is measuring customer engagement for ROI. So in that application, anybody, frankly, who is doing any sort of trade show at any decent size or scale, large or small, we can support them with measurement.
So what can you give me like a case study or an idea? So obviously this would be good for retail. Like, can you give an example of how a big retail chain would use this?
Absolutely. So we're providing metrics that help them understand customer journey, very specifically and to the point. With all of our fancy technology, at the end of the day, the use cases are about measuring customer engagement, as I mentioned. So we're providing these larger retailers and medium retailers with data and data points, including how many people walk by their store, what is the conversion of that addressable market into their store. But then we go past the door counters, which there are many out there, and we actually study the entire journey. So imagine if you were a retailer and you could actually understand all of your customers' movement behavior down to the square meter of accuracy, look at their attraction rate and dwell time and conversion. For example, how many people tried on clothes then checked out. How many people who saw this particular digital signage or interior activation and then converted to the product category that you were focusing them on. Or even as simple as measuring their queues and helping them optimize and create more efficiencies around their queues through triggered communication so they open up a register before somebody walks out the door instead of purchasing. And we could go on, but that'll give you just a taste.
Wow, so that's amazing. So, for example, if you're designing a store layout or something of that nature, and you're thinking, okay, whether or not something's working or not, it doesn't. You're not. So traditionally, maybe they're doing something like obviously barcodes, things like that. Like you can track the amount of sales. Okay, we tried it here. We tried it in this spot. We got X amount of sales. We tried it in this other spot. We got X amount of sales. So this spot works better than that spot. But with your technology, it's so advanced. You can say, okay, well, everything from not just spot but size, and did that convert to a sale? I mean, you can go on and on with the testing that you could do with something like that. Am I off, or am I kind of on the right direction there?
You're completely nailing it. You've got it. A/B testing is a huge application for our technology. So for a marketer and a retailer to actually understand that when I place this end cap, particularly in this space within the store or this product display here, what does that mean from an attraction rate and dwell time and conversion perspective? Now, everybody out there today understands point of sale data and they know what's sold, but what they don't know is how many opportunities they missed and what product categories actually have interest, but there is a gap, and it's often in a training or a salesperson gap that they don't understand how to convert a customer. So I like to liken us to a flashlight that's shining light on the dark areas of the store that they can't see, which frankly is a lot of their locations, and highlighting those areas that they think were not actually interesting and valuable, but yet they were, and they're missing an opportunity to convert sales. So that's where we're really strong, is filling in the gaps and converting the data and making it actionable in such a way so they can ultimately drive better customer satisfaction and sell-through.
Wow. So your tagline of measuring customer engagement for ROI isn't just a well-written marketing tagline. You're really doing it. I love it, Kalon. Let's spend a little bit of time on the trade show activation. I don't want to neglect that part of it. So tell me a little bit more about that, please.
Great. Well, look, if you study retail today, and frankly, with the entire e-commerce situation slowly eating the lunch of brick and mortar, what everybody's learning and all the retail prognosticators are sharing is that it's all about experience at retail today. So being able to measure and evaluate that particular experience is very valuable. And there's brands that are spending millions and hundreds of millions of dollars and guessing at what's working. So we take something as small as a trade show, small booth. It could be a 20 by 20, for example. It could be 100 by 100 if you wanted to do something bigger. But being able to see what actually happens in that environment, how people flow through, again, where their attraction rate, dwell time, conversion, and many other key metrics that ultimately determine success and our KPIs, we're the ones that can measure that. You can take that same application out of the building into a music festival, right? If your brand is trying to promote itself in front of a key audience, like we've done some activations of the Super Bowl, for example, is to measure that audience reaction to your brand, maybe your luxury car, is invaluable. Right now there's sort of a blind spot there, and we're helping remove those blind spots and those blinders and ultimately focusing on that which drives value by proving things that they cannot see today. So it doesn't matter if it's indoor, if it's outdoor, if it's a arrive and drive event for a car dealer, or if it's a brand that wants to promote their alcohol at a local music festival. We can measure and actually give them ROI metrics across the board.
And so it sounds like, so for the other activation, obviously that's for, the enterprises you mentioned. For this one, are the smaller trade show hosts able to do anything with this or no?
Absolutely. So there's, of course, the bigger booths are going to have the larger investments. Many of these companies are spending millions of dollars to show up at an event. But we've now actually done some additional additions to our technology that's allowing us to go into the smaller and medium size. So even at a lower level, if you have your 10 by 10 booth or 20 by 20 or your activation that happens to be at scale, it makes financial sense now to measure that with some of the applications of our technology that are pretty more recent. So we can address that smaller entry-level market, we'll say, but of course we do very, very well in the high-end enterprise aspects as well.
That's awesome. So, Kalon, if somebody is listening to this and they want more information or they wanna follow up, what's the best way for them to do that?
Great. Easiest way is to go to FastSensor, FastSensor.com, and take a look at our site, schedule a demo, find us on LinkedIn, of course, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. We're pretty much all across the social media space, but I think our website's probably the simplest and easiest.
Perfect. Well, hey, Kalon, really appreciate you coming on the show today and sharing more about all the great work that you're doing over at FastSensor. And it's not just a tagline. You really are measuring customer engagement for ROI. I love it, helping our business owners out there and our retail. So thank you for that. And to the audience, as always, thank you for tuning in. Hope you got a lot of value out of this. If you did, don't forget to subscribe to the podcast. Leave me a review on the Apple iTunes Store. If you're watching this on our YouTube channel, Mission Matters Innovation, don't forget to give that a subscribe and also leave us some comments in the comment section. Love to know your thoughts on the discussion today and also on innovation in general. So, and Kalon, thanks again for coming on the show.